Hey everyone, what is good? Welcome back to the channel. This is Silver Hyena, and I'm coming back for the part 2 of the Bombay India Ink Dr. P.H. Martin's, which is awesome, even though I have to admit right now, in the previous video that I had done, if you haven't seen it, link will be in the description below, one of those little eye bubble thingies, I did make a couple of flubs that I had admitted in that video. The major one, as fun as it was to play around with this, my dumb brain was thinking alcohol inks and India ink were the same thing. Smooth brain moment there. So, I've decided to do the actual illustration on watercolor paper. This is Strathmore watercolor. This has been the book. I think every single drawing or painting I have done in this sketchbook has been featured on the channel at some point or another, actually. Which, I've got like 2 pages left, so this bad boy's almost filled out. I'm actually very excited about that. Yeah, it is illustration time, and by the time I'm done rambling all of this off, the sketch should already be completed, and we should be well on our way to using the star of the show. So you know what? Let's just get to that. Yeah, I feel so silly. Okay, so the most important thing I'd like to mention about these inks is that unlike watercolors, India ink is not reconstituted by water. Once it dries, that's it. The end. Both on the paper or in the palette. It's there to stay. So with that in mind, use sparingly. Now, on the subject of doing things sparingly, a little bit goes a long way. Also, if you so desire, you can thin out the ink with water. I found these inks blend together very well. Keep in mind, I did most of my blending via the palettes rather than on the page. And I'll say just a drop or 2 of ink is really all you need, unless of course you're working on a bigger piece, but I found that for the size I was doing, 1 or 2 drops and you're good. The colors are just beautiful, and these inks, the Bombay, they are light fast. For those of you that aren't aware, light fastness is what determines if the colors fade over time or not, especially if an art piece is left out in direct sunlight. Of course, I don't care how light fast something is, I wouldn't recommend leaving any painting, drawing, etc. out in direct sunlight. Color me paranoid, I am. Anyways, when an art supply is light fast, it's going to be very resistant to fading. Light fastness is a beautiful thing. Now then, I picked up these inks at Hobby Lobby regularly, about $40 for the set. But my set, I got it on sale for $30. Always love me a good sale. There is another secondary set that I'd love to get a hold of at some point, but this set's colors can easily stretch into whatever you may desire. Also, if you're not interested in the sets, there are individual Bombay India inks. Now then, regularly, at least in my area where I've seen them, typically they're a little bit bigger bottle, but they also cost on average anywhere from $5 to $8 depending on where you go. So it's expensive. I'm just gonna put it out there. But you can curate your own individual palette. But for me, the set works wonderful. When you use these inks, they're a lot like watercolors. Just be aware that India inks stain. So don't wear your favorite shirt, and of course protect your surface and floor, especially if you're like me and live in a rental and want some hope of getting your security deposit back. One of these days, I need to get a dip pen and try out these beautiful inks that way, but in the meantime, they were super lovely to use with my brushes. I am exceptionally happy with how Katani here was turning out. Seriously, she was the perfect model to make use of the neutral colors as well as the brights that came with this set. Overall, if you enjoy using watercolors or gouache, you'll probably enjoy these Bombay India inks. The only issues I really have is the inability to reconstitute with water, and I can see how that can be a mixed blessing, because in some situations you might not want it to reconstitute in water, and in other cases you're going, oh boy, what do I do now? So you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Also, on a side note, I'd like to mention that after filming, a few days later, I cleansed my palettes with a bit of rubbing alcohol on a cotton ball, and it worked very well. In a future video, I'm gonna go on about how I had trouble cleaning it initially, so this is me from the future. Okay, spoiler alert. Blech. Anyways, have you used these inks before? If so, post below. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say.
Alrighty, so here we are. These things, a tiny bit goes a long way. I know I've probably gone over all of this, yapping on during the painting process, but it just, like, I've barely used any of this ink, and look at a tiny bit, look at that. So, this stuff, I loved it overall. My only thing I have to pick at is that unlike watercolors, you can't reconstitute it. So once it's dry, that's it. However, despite that, there he goes again. Okay, but, okay, just try to ignore my brother. Hopefully he doesn't start swearing again, or, but anyways, this, I loved this. I loved this whole thing. I mean, like, it's, if you like watercolors, you will probably enjoy this. Okay, I'm at least 99.9% certain you'll enjoy it. So, like, if I had to rate these, I would definitely say a solid 8.5 out of 10 would be fair. I mean, like, there are some flaws, but the fun factor outdo the flaws. I mean, like the major flaw is how you can't reconstitute it. The other major flaw, even though this one is kind of it falls into nitpicky and why would you do that category, do not wear your Sunday finest while working with this stuff because it stains. I mean, it stains. So don't have anything absolutely priceless nearby that you cannot have a mess made out of. Just, like, if you have to cover up the entire area in plastic, just do that and then work and have fun. Anyways, I certainly hope that you have enjoyed this video. I know I did. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Anyways, with that being said, this is Silver Hyena, signing off. Stay creative, everybody. Bye!